As some of you may know, we've been really trying this year to find ways that we can grow crops all year round. Now, because we're in Texas, this definitely makes things a little easier. We're in zone 8B, so we can put some things right outside, things that are more cold hardy. We also now have a greenhouse this year that we're trying to get ready, but I also wanted to check out indoor hydroponics. This seems to be a really popular option among people that would like to grow inside all year, and this is a great option if you live in a cooler climate, or is supposed to be a greater option. We're gonna find out in today's video, because you can keep it indoors and you can grow food all year round, no matter what climate you're in. But before we get started, a huge shout out and thank you to Growell for sponsoring today's video and providing us with this awesome indoor hydroponic kit that I'm going to show you today. Comes with everything you need to get started. I literally did not buy anything to get started with this. The only thing that they do not supply for you to get started is the seeds, which honestly I prefer, because you guys know, if you guys have watched me for any amount of time, you know that I do not like when they provide seeds in kits like these, because normally they are very low quality or old. And so being able to provide my own seeds is honestly a plus and not a downside. But everything else came in, including the grow sponges and cups to cover the seeds with the humidity, even tweezers, stickers, everything to get started, and that made me super happy. Also, if you guys have this system already, because I realized that some of you, after I showed you all that I got it, said you have it already, which, how did I not know about this? So it came with the system, which also has a grow light attached to it that is adjustable, so it can be lower or higher, and it actually got very high, which I liked. It came with the pods, the grow sponges, the even little tags to put in so you know what's in each one, instructions, like I said, everything but the seeds, which is a plus. So after I got it all out, I had to sit and read through the instructions for a while, because this is actually my first time, like I said, doing anything with hydroponics ever. So I read the instructions for a while, realized I needed to soak my seeds, so I had to come back to this. After choosing all of my seeds, I chose a lot of greens, some herbs, and I also decided, just for fun, let's do some micro tomatoes. As you guys know, I got some micro tomato seeds last year. I grew them inside the house. They did okay. I didn't really have enough light, and I didn't really have anything that tall to put them under, so they struggled a little bit inside the house over the winter. I think that they will do better in the hydroponic system. So dwarf micro tomatoes only get up to like 2 feet tall. So I did a little research. They should fit in the system okay, hopefully. So I guess we're going to find out. And then otherwise, like I said, just some greens. So I did like butter crunch, lettuce, spinach, iceberg, Swiss chard. And then for herbs, I did things like basil, lemon balm, and sage. So I started by soaking all of my seeds. And then after soaking my seeds, I also had to soak my grow sponges, but it was a much shorter time to soak those, just to rehydrate them. And then they just go inside the pods. Simple. And then it also came with stickers that you put on top of the pods so that I guess you could center the seeds, I guess is what they're for. The stickers are still on there now. So, not really sure if I was supposed to take them off or anything. It didn't say anything about that in the instructions, so I'm gonna say no. So I put the grow sponges in, I put the stickers on, I planted my seeds right in the center. I just put 2 or 3 of each seed in each pod, whatever one I wanted to do. Labeled all of my pods, turned on the pump, set the timer for the light. That's another thing, guys. The pump runs automatically, so you just turn it on and it'll do 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. I have noticed that the pump is extremely quiet on this, like so quiet you don't even know it's on, which is very nice, because the last thing that I want to do is hear that thing running in the middle of the night, and I can't hear it. And then the light too also has different settings, so there's like vegetable setting, herb setting, flower and fruit setting. I didn't really know what to do for mine because I have so many different types of crops in there, so I just went with the vegetable setting. It also has a timer, so you can set it for 16 hours or 22 hours. That's how long it's going to stay on for. And you can also put your light to sleep if you want to. So you can easily set up the perfect light cycle for whatever you're trying to do. After I planted my seeds, I put the little humidity dome things over. By the way, do not leave those humidity dome things on once the seeds have germinated. Take them off. As soon as you notice that the seeds have germinated, take them off. Trust me, that's what I did. It worked super well. If you leave the humidity domes afterwards, you could deal with mold. issues because the humidity is too high. So as soon as they germinate, take those humidity domes off, store them, put them away. So I tried to track the growth for y'all as much as I could while I was doing this. I probably should have gotten more video, but I didn't. Also, as far as feeding goes, I waited to feed it the first time until after the seeds germinated, and that's when I fed it for the first time. So it was a few days in, some seeds started germinating, so that's when I fed it. By the way, this does come with your first couple bottles of food that you'll need, and it tells you exactly how much to put in, which is super helpful. So once they started germinating, that's when I did the first round of food. I filled up the water every time that it dropped below the minimum level. And then I would just fill it back up, not to the max level. I normally tried to fill it up to 5 liters or a little higher than 5 liters. And then I've only fed the system twice up until the end of this video, and you'll see at the end of the video how far the plants have grown. Here are the seeds right after they started sprouting. You can see I removed a lot of the humidity domes. Everything came up except for 3 things, which I replanted. It was the same seeds. So I'm just thinking I had a problem with those seeds and not the hydroponic system itself, because everything else came up fine. I did have to thin out some things. Here's the thing again, after the plants have grown a little bit more. I haven't thinned everything out at this point, but you can see that the plants are doing really well, especially the lettuce. The lettuce did amazing. It grew so fast. As of now, I believe I've had the system around 2 months, and I've harvested from it twice. Mostly just greens so far. I have harvested a little bit of the herbs, just sort of trimming them off and stuff, more or less trying to make them grow the way that I want them to grow, not harvesting per se, but those parts can all still be used. I have not harvested any tomatoes yet, but we all know that tomatoes are going to take a little bit longer than that. My biggest tomato plant is now flowering. So that's a good sign. I'm already seeing flower buds on that, and yes, you will have to hand pollinate if you do any kind of flowering plant like that. As far as the light goes, I did get one small burn spot on one of my greens, and then I just lifted the light. So far, the light has been great. I've been able to lift it higher. It is now at the highest setting, so hopefully my plants don't grow too much higher. I think that the lettuce and stuff is all done getting higher, but my tomatoes may not be, so I may have to keep them trimmed down a little bit just to make sure that they don't get burned by the light. The roots all grew super well on this thing. They have thick, luscious white roots on every single one of my plants. I've pulled them all out. I've taken a look at all of them. They all look absolutely amazing. This has been a very low maintenance, low effort way of growing food. And if you don't have outdoor space or you want to grow throughout the winter, this would make an awesome gift. Super easy to use. Personally, I think that if you helped a child plant this, they could take care of it themselves. I'm thinking around the ages of like 8, 9, maybe 10 to take care of this themselves. It would be a great at-home like science project for them. It has been way easier to take care of them in my regular garden because you're not dealing with weeds. You don't have to worry about watering because all I've been doing is once it drops below the minimum line, I'm filling it up. You do have to remember to feed it, but honestly, that hasn't been that hard for me to remember. I just feed it whenever I feel like it needs fed. There's probably a specific set time, but I'm trying not to overthink this too much. The one thing that I did notice is if you're going to plant bigger plants with smaller plants. So for example, my herbs grew a little bit slower than my greens, for example. The greens are very fast growing. Sometimes my greens would cover the herbs so that they were not receiving light. Again, this is not a huge issue. I can either trim the greens back, which is what I've been doing mostly, or I can move them or turn them around so that, they're allowing the herbs to receive that light. This is going to be a problem whenever you plant smaller plants with bigger plants. And so just keep that in mind also when you're planting, if you're going to plant in a system like this where the plants are real close together like that. So far, how do I like the actual system? The system is a 9 out of 10, guys. Super easy to use. The pump has not stopped working, hasn't failed me once. It's super easy to see the water level. The light hasn't failed once. It's been absolutely amazing to use, super easy to grow in. I would recommend this to anyone looking to grow food indoors all year round. It's been amazing. And you're going to keep your house at a pretty decent temperature, then you should be good to go with this. So overall, the process was very straightforward. Definitely something that was really easy to learn and do with having no experience with hydroponics. I haven't even like watched any videos on hydroponics or any kind of classes or anything, just because it was something that I didn't know if I'd be interested in. And so trying it out, it's something that I'm definitely interested in and would even be willing to expand on like in the future and stuff. I've already gotten two pretty awesome harvests out of this system. Most of it was just greens and herbs, but still, guys, I can't wait. And if you guys want to see, I'm going to be doing obviously more updates throughout the winter. I'm definitely going to show them we get that first tomato harvest, because that's going to be like a big deal to be able to grow tomatoes in your hydroponic system like this. Make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned. Give this video a thumbs up. If you guys want to check out this hydroponic system or any of the accessories for this system, I'm going to leave links down below. And again, a huge thank you to Growell for sponsoring this video today. And I will see you all on the next one.